All right, everybody, we made it on time again tonight. What do y'all think about doing this on a Monday night? We're kind of looking at nights right now to kind of see how things turn out, and hopefully we're going to get us a date set because this is way too much work. Let's see, we got some people coming. I'm going to go ahead and just bring Kirk in, and then I'll do the intro stuff with Kirk. Make sure everything's going good. Looks like we lost him. He was here. He'll be right back, I'm sure. Yes, we're going to talk about JFA. We're going to talk about tracking Bigfoot tonight, how we do it, encounters we've ran into, what we've seen while we've done it. Even some ideas on how we think is the best way to do it. Let's see. But yeah, I think we're going to have a really good night. As soon as we get Kirk back in here, guys, we'll go ahead and start the live and kick everything off and go into what we're going to talk about. We're going to got some good information about some investigations coming up. So I appreciate that, Frida. That's very nice of you. Yep, Kirk's back with us. Vampires did not hunt him down. He's doing good. A lot of people were afraid somebody might have got him. No, nobody got him. There he is. Looks like he's back.
I'm back.
There you are.
How you doing?
Good. People were asking if the vampires had got you.
Rumors of my demise are greatly exaggerated.
Well, at least you didn't get ate by nothing. Or bitten.
Exactly. But you know, the funny thing is, I was just talking to our vampire hunter friend that will be on our show, and he is having, shall we say, some success down there in South America right now. Hey, Mindy, I miss seeing you guys.
So he's on a mission.
Oh, yes, sir. Very much so. And his partner is over in Germany on a mission right now. And if it wasn't because of this war in the Ukraine, his mission would actually be larger and it would stretch into a section of Ukraine.
You know what vampires hate to eat, right?
What's that, Mike?
Steak.
I should have known.
I couldn't help it. I got too much sleep last night. I actually slept a couple hours.
That's a good thing.
I had something out the house, so howling out in the field a little bit. I've had it the last 2 nights again. So, yeah, I went outside, and it's staying far enough back that it's not close, but it seems like when you move toward it, it keeps the same amount of distance between you and it. It never gives up or loses any. So it was a little weird last
They're
night.
smart.
Yeah,
They're very smart.
And it was leading me over toward where the old coal mines are at, the valleys and the
Yeah,
hills.
that's not where you want to go.
Yeah, I said, I'm not going to follow you down there. Again, everybody's mentioning, I want to bring it up again, that the passing of Scott Carpenter, very sad. We lost a great researcher. Prayers to the family, condolences. And he had his own unique way of doing things. And he was just, he had his own groove, I guess. And he's going to be greatly missed. I just pray that, that the family has strength through this, and they have each other to lean on. And I always tell people, just remember, it's not goodbye, it's see you later. So.
That's exactly right. Now, while we're talking about him passing, we know that Claudia passed recently. We know there have been a whole lot others in this field that have passed. I'm just going to say that it seems like anytime one of us is starting to get close to an answer, they'll either develop a mysterious illness, a lot of times it's very rare cancers, or they just have aneurysms and they're gone.
Yeah.
I myself don't believe in coincidences. So, why is this happening? You've got to ask yourself.
Right. I'm glad you went into that, because what you're talking about is exactly what I was going to go into before the show started and just stir the pot right off. I hadn't told you. You didn't even know I was going to do it, and you went kind of partially into what I was going to do. It's of course we're glad you're back. I had that in the comments. We were really worried about you, Kurt, and we did everything we could to find you and to make sure you were okay. So we were pretty worried about you. Before I stir the pot and get everything up roaring, and Kirk in the middle of it, because this is probably going to put Kirk right in the middle of it. But I want to say that the other night when we had Christy on as a co-host, I would like to congratulate her on a good job. We had the highest live we've had to date, and I thought she done an extremely good job. She done really well, and I just wanted to thank her for that. She's
wonderful.
Yes, more than what we expected. Now to stir in the pot. Like you said, we lost Claudia, we lost Scott, and we lost Carrie. Just to name a few. And I got to thinking about that last night. And I've had a lot of people emailing me, and some people on here, MRL has said that eyes are on me. I'm sure. But, if you really look at it, and I don't know, Kirk, it'd be up, your opinion too. It's just a theory to see what you think. But it seems that out of all of the cryptic aliens, lizard men, all that, it seems like the cryptic world is hit harder than the alien world And I was wondering and talking to myself last night, and I was like, why would there be such a difference? And then I was laying there and I got to thinking, all of a sudden it just hit me. And I don't know what you think about this, but what I was thinking was when you dive into the cryptic world, and a lot like what Scott Carpenter was doing, a lot like what we do, believing that these creatures are flesh and blood tied to the orbs of the disembodied, which would go back to biblical times, proving the Bible right, the flood, everything. These are the things right now in the end times that they don't want known, that they want to cover up. And
Right.
if you go on the alien dialogue to where they're not threatened, they're not attacked, it's because they're supporting the agenda of the government because they want you to believe in the aliens. All they're doing
Yep.
is helping them spread the deception to where we're trying to put light on the deception. And I think that's the difference. What do you think?
That is pretty much my opinion also. I mean, you have Project Bluebeam, which, yeah, it hasn't been proven, but we all know that's what's going on. That is the great deception. So anybody that buys into the alien uh, philosophy, they're working hand in hand with the government without even knowing it. They're helping to further the government's agenda, whereas we are trying to get to the truth. There's a saying, the truth will set you free. Well, as much as I hate to say it, I believe that the truth set Scott free. Scott's free now. He's up with Jesus. There are no secrets to him anymore. So,
Should I share the conversation that him and I had?
I would.
Put it out there. July 22nd, I received an email from Scott Carpenter, and he was talking to me about him and Melba's research. And I had never spoken to Scott, in a like business way. And he was like, Mike, we was watching a video that you had done, and you touched on something that really caught our attention. He said, you found the piece of the puzzle that connects everything together. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, we would like to visit with you and talk about it. And he knew I had a procedure coming the 15th. And I told him, I had a procedure coming. Of course, they're busy. And he said, well, after the 15th, he said, let's get together and we want to talk to you and some of the things that you'd found. And pretty much just a back and forth email. But really what it came down to is he said he had a theory of the creatures being able to go from solid to the spiritual world. And he said, I had seen your video where you had a different, he called it a hypothesis. And he said, your hypothesis was that they actually weren't doing that because of what God had said. He said he was a Christian man, which, man, that made me feel really good just knowing that he's gone, that he's protected by God anyways. That made me feel good. And he said, I understand what you were saying, and we looked into that, and you said that the orbs were connected to him through the bloodline. And he said that really blew our mind, and we want to talk to you about that. Now, that was on the 22nd. After the 22nd, I received like a short email after that trying to set up a time to talk, and he said we was going to put the puzzle together. And then I found out that he had passed away. It really makes you... I wish we could have talked so I knew exactly what he
Yeah,
was talking
really.
about. And
I know what Scott's theories on Bigfoot were. I know what Melba's first DNA study was. Melba's first DNA study. And test results that I had on the DNA specimens that I sent in for testing actually lined up perfectly. I mean, her results and my results were identical. Even though mine was done in the state of Ohio, hers were done in other states. They were all done by different laboratories, but yet they were the same result.
Right.
So, interesting.
Yeah, and I was really surprised that that he had even watched my video, and he was like, "Oh yeah, yeah." He's like, "That really hit home with us." He said, "We had never thought of it that way," and I was like, it was just something that I came up with from reading and researching, and I was just like, kind of made sense. And he said, "No, no, 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 don't kind of make sense. It really fits." And I think it would have been awesome if we could have put both of our material together, but I guess it wasn't meant to be.
Latresa, what do you mean? Here we go again with the voices.
I'm not hearing anything on my end.
I'm not hearing anything on my end either.
It's actually really clear tonight. Another thing kind of makes you think, and it's speculation, of course. Melba all of a sudden decides that she's going to start writing children's books.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's through with the cryptids, and now she's going to write children's books. Yeah, that's an awful big swing career-wise.
It makes you wonder if maybe there was a persuasion.
Yeah. They're coming in when you're talking. It was a female.
Okay, I haven't heard anything on my end at all.
I haven't either on my end. And tonight there's only you and me on, so that should be the only people that they can hear.
Yeah. And actually, I don't even hear the background static anymore either.
I don't either.
I think your new phone's a lot better, because when I called you, the first thing I told you is like, "Wow, I can hear you really good on this phone."
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, it's we'll never know, and maybe someday Melba will come and share with us, what they was going to share. I don't know. We just have to speculate, and I would like to know.
Okay, Hatbox. Mike, quite frankly,
that's really weird, because I didn't put that up there. It did it itself.
Yeah, and I just heard the woman's voice.
All right, I took it down. Yeah, I didn't put that up there. That actually done it by itself. I was looking in my notes.
Okay, somebody's playing games again for some reason.
But you wanted to talk about something that you didn't get to talk about the other night.
Oh, there were a few things that I didn't get to talk about the other night.
Let's get into those, and then we can get into this stuff here later.
Okay, one of the things that I wanted to touch on, and I wanted to do it the other night because there was actually a Bigfoot festival in Ohio this past weekend, a gathering at Hocking Hills State Park. Hocking Hills State Park is actually one of the more dangerous parks in the country. Not a big park, but it somehow has the most deaths per capita. Very, very long time place that Bigfoot and Dogman both have been spotted. And I've kind of been digging into this for about the last 5 years. And it turns out that there was an old Shawnee legend. Now, some people are going to like this, some aren't. The Shawnee legend said that something, men or something, came down from outer space and inhabited the area of the woods in the general location where Hocking Hills is right now. And it would kill the braves indiscriminately. That they thought it was something from outer space. That went to the point where the Shawnee stopped even going into that area. They would not hunt there. They would not go there for any reason. Well, white man started to inhabit that area about 50 years after that. The white man would have people come up missing, some dying mysterious deaths. And the white man actually put it off as being rogue Shawnee coming into the area and killing the people. Well, lo and behold, Bigfoot gets seen. And Bigfoot gets spotted numerous times, just about the same time that a body will be found or a person would go missing. So with just a little bit of reasoning, it's not hard to believe that, no, it wasn't little green men from outer space that was taking the Shawnee and killing them. Now, it was a rogue Bigfoot. But the odd thing is, as I say, Bigfoot and Dogman are both seen to this day in that same very area. And people are still dying mysterious deaths in that same area. Now, there was a photographer killed a few years ago there. 2 kids supposedly threw a log at her and hit her in the face from up on a bluff above her. The kids were 11 and 12 years old at the time. The log was about 9 foot long, was about 10 to 12 inches in diameter, weighed very close to 200 pounds. Now, that log had to absolutely go through the air about 40 foot. Well, I'm sorry, but an 11 and a 12-year-old kid are not going to throw a 200-pound log 40 foot through the air. But the odd thing is, not 10 minutes before that happened, there was, quote, reports of a big man in a fur coat, covered head to toe with it. Now, we're talking in the middle of July here. Nobody's going to be out in 90-degree weather in a fur coat and covered head to head by it. And like I say, just a few minutes later, that lady gets killed by that log. You know, they end up prosecuting them 2 kids. Both the kids neither had very good representation. They got railroaded, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's just another one where innocent people got blamed for a Bigfoot death because the government, and be it state, local, or federal government, none of them wants to admit that these cryptids exist, that these cryptids are in the parks, and that these cryptids kill people in the parks.
Numerous times, huh?
Yep. Way more than we would like.
And they'll always have a reason. Even if it's
and once more I go back to the reason that the government does not want us to know about this is follow the money.
Right. Yeah, they're never going to admit it because of the liability. There's too much liability.
Right. Right.
You know, about the tracking that we was talking about, going to talk about tonight. I've got a investigation coming up, and you know about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to let everybody know tonight. I'm not going to let them know, of course, what day I'm going or anything like that, but I am going to be going on a solo investigation. Kirk and everybody knows what I'm going to be doing, where I'm going to be going. There is no cell phone where I'm going. The GPS don't even work down there half the time because of the canopy. But I'm going to be going down there real soon. That video will be released. Not so sure I'm going to find Sasquatch. May end up finding Sasquatch, but probably more in this area. I'm going to probably run into some feral people. Ran into them down there before, got followed out by them. This time I'm wanting to go down and document them. So that's going to be one of the things I'm going to be working on.
Yeah, that ain't a good idea, Mike.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my turkey hunting techniques and try to be real quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Another thing I was going to tell people too that we noticed, going out on a full moon is what brought me to my theory about the moon phases. Every time, almost every time that I went out on a full moon, there was
nothing happens.
No, it was calm, peaceful. Felt like I should have been camping, not fishing, because everybody knows fish don't bite on full moon night. But everything was just so docile. But then you go on the waning, or you go on the waxing, and it's like, man, it's a whole different world out there. It's it changes, and that's what made me think about. They got those rods in their eyes, and when they have that little bit of light, with all the other senses they have that are so far better than ours, just imagine the advantage they have.
Yep. And they lose that advantage on a full moon because it's light enough.
Yeah, it kind of evens the playing field.
Yep.
But when that moon starts waning or waxing, it's like they have that advantage. Now, I don't know about a no moon night. Have you ever had any experience on a no moon night? I don't think I've ever been out on a no moon.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. And quite frankly, it was very active. Fortunately, we did not see anything. We had plenty of wood knocks. We could hear things walking in the woods right by the camp that we were at, but yet nothing. We did go to sleep. We didn't put up perimeter alarms. When we got up in the morning, we did have footprints right in the campsite.
Right.
That is correct. There will never be just one.
Yeah, no moon night down there is going to be pitch black.
See, this one area that we investigate, we make a joke that they actually have to pipe daylight into it because it's dark even during the middle of the day.
Right. We also noticed that around the creeks and bridges seem to be really hot spots with a lot of trees and cover. Or
Your bridges are always a hot spot because of the fact they literally can go under the bridge to drink unimpeded because they don't have to worry about being seen by anybody. And there again, if they're in a hunting mode, it is a very good ambush area. And it just, it's always a place to be cautious of when you're out in areas where there's a good probability that you may encounter something. I always say I don't cross a bridge right away. I'll go past the bridge. I'll look under the bridge to a point with the flashlight, and then I'll go back and cross the bridge.
and, also they have food as far as the perch and the small bugs and stuff, and then the things that do come down to drink also. So it's kind of like and they may even use them for highways to travel.
Oh, they do use streams and rivers as highways. There's no doubt about it. And the majority of the Sasquatch are very good swimmers also. Dogmen, I do not know their swimming ability, but I have seen Sasquatch in the water. They are very strong swimmers.
Right. A lot of people talk about all the drownings that happen in the summer and stuff, and they there's rumors that people have seen something under the water before somebody goes under and never resurfaces.
Listen to this one, Mike, and this I found out 2 weeks ago. Was going to bring it up, and it really does not fit in, but yet it does fit in. There was a man decapitated at a lake in Indiana. Completely decapitated. Make a long story short, during the autopsy, they determined that it was a snapping turtle. The snapping turtle, they estimate to be 9 foot in diameter. And they have found evidence of drag marks at the edge of the lake that would indicate a snapping turtle of 9 foot diameter.
Wow.
How can they live in the heat with all the hair? Same way a dog does. They're just, it's something that if you're used to it, it doesn't bother you as much. I'm a welder, as per se. I work on a lot of very hot pieces of metal. A lot of the metal we have to preheat to 600 degrees before we ever start welding on it. So quite frankly, when it's 120 out, it doesn't bother me at all. To me, that's just, it's a little uncomfortable, but not enough to bother me. Whereas your normal person, at 120, they're going to be sweating, they're going to have their tongues out panting, they're going to be looking for water. So it's all kind of relative to what they get used to.
And I'm sure they probably do lay in the creeks and stuff when it's hot in the shade.
Sure they do.
Lay in the creek and stick your head above the water, and all it's going to look like is a big rock down there anyways when you drive by.
And also remember, as far as I can figure out, and most researchers believe these things live underground. They live in old abandoned mines. They live in caves. They even are thought to dig dens into hillsides. And anytime you're underground, you have the insulation of the earth to keep the heat off of you. And depending on how deep you are, a lot of times you're at a constant 58 to 62 degrees year round. So with that hair, I mean, that would be just perfect for them, a perfect environment. Never be too hot, never be too cold.
You know, a lot of dogs also, you know, they'll dig the ground up to the cool dirt and then lay their stomach on it. And I don't know if a
Yep,
lot of people know this, but the earth will actually pull the heat from your body. That's why if you're
sure.
lost, you know, in the winter, they tell you don't lay directly on the ground, have something in between you and the ground, or it'll cause hypothermia. Uh, so there's ways that I'm sure they have all found out how to stay cool and spring water. These caves are full of spring water. We all know spring water is good and good, cool, clear water. And they're probably just kicked back. And what is it? Pigs, you know, pigs take a mud bath because
Right?
they're unable to sweat. Um, I need to get me some pigs, but
I got my friendly farmer down the road that's got about 800 of them. So,
you know, another thing I was always told when I was growing up by all the elders and my uncle and stuff was when you go to the woods, you're going to have more action. And you know, if you have as many women as you do men, and I always thought them old, you know, the old guys were messing with us, you know, teasing us, whatever. But as we went into high school and we started, you know, getting uh, our driver's licenses and being freer to run and stuff, we started trying those things. You know, we would take some girls out and, you know, see, you know, let's go down there and see if we can find something or see if we hear something. You know, my email's at the bottom, running across the bottom if you need it. And we started trying it, and then we would go with just, you know, just guys, and then we would take girls, and there's something to it. Every time we took the girls, we had more sightings
sure.
than not. And whenever we had
Yeah.
mostly guys down there, we didn't really have anything happen.
Well, that's just like that one area in Ohio in the last 20 years that had like 33 people missing. 38, one of them were women. That's surrounding a large state park.
Wow. And the Girl Scout parks get a lot of sightings.
Yep.
And some of the people live right next door to
Imagine that.
it. Better to hunt you with, my dear. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, you know, another thing we I found too is when you go out hunting these things, the chances of running onto one is a lot slimmer than if you're out engaged in something else, like picking pecans, a
Right.
nature walk, a hike, camping with the
Right.
kids, you know, cooking out. And it seems like they will come to you more like that. And I don't know if it's because of their curiosity.
It is. See, that's what we always do when we go out. We actually, for the most part, will go out and we will do things that will raise their curiosity, get them to come see us, see what the hell we are. Now, I've done things as far as playing music. We've had action off that. I've even tried shooting off fireworks. That didn't work. The music seemed to work good. Smoking food always seems to work good. And you can tell whether you're going to have action from a cryptid or not, because when you're out there smoking the food, you know, slow cooking it over a fire, if when it gets dusk, you start seeing raccoons and such. There's no cryptid in the area.
Right.
It's the nights that as it gets dusk, you see nothing. You know you're going to get a visit from the big guy.
And you know they're not afraid to come into your camp. They will.
No, they're not afraid at all. They'll come right into the campsite.
And they will explore and sometimes even try to pull kids out in their sleeping bags.
Yep.
And maybe even you.
Yep.
Know? I mean, if you're laying there and, boy, it'd be something to wake up, something pulling you out the zipper of your sleeping bag, wouldn't it?
Sure.
Especially if you had your arms inside it. Take you and hang you up in a tree and use you as a punching bag.
Yep.
And there's going to be more than one.
Yeah, or if you're laying on top of the sleeping bag with another one covering you, and it reaches down, grabs your ankle, and slams you. Yeah, that gets your attention real quick.
And being in a dead sleep and everything, you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer injuries for sure.
Yep, Dana, you are correct. There are watchers. They know when you're there. They know to a point what you're doing.
Okay, they're pausing our show a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think they know when you're hunting them and they know when you're not. And you know, one of the things I thought about trying is, you know, when you have kids with you, you have, you know, almost a 100% chance out there. I thought about recording some kids playing or something and go down there and play, you know, a bunch of kids screaming and hollering. And
we've done that, and we've also done kids crying, babies crying.
Right.
And one thing I can tell you is all centerfire cartridges, like rifle, pistol, all contain cordite in the primer. Cordite is made from pigs. Okay, a rimfire, such as a 22 long rifle, 22 Magnum, they have no cordite in them. For some reason, and I believe it is the scent of the cordite, they know when you're armed. It's when you have a rimfire, either they cannot smell it, they don't know that you're armed, or it could be the fact that, well, you know, it's small enough that it really isn't going to hurt them that bad, they figure. I don't know, but that's why most of your encounters are when you're either unarmed or underarmed.
I think they know when we're carrying and we're not carrying. I know whenever I pulled my weapon on that one, it turned and walked away like it knew exactly what I had.
Sure, like I say, they can smell the cordite, I believe.
And also, whenever you're out, you know, and you're tracking one, you got to be careful that they don't backtrack and end up flanking you, because a lot of times they will.
And they do.
Around. Oh yeah, you'll be walking one way and then they'll be behind you, and you're like,
yep.
How did he do that? And then the next thing you know, you're not doing the tracking; they're doing the tracking.
Yep. You went from the hunter to the hunted.
Yes. And some people, they will imprint on, and it doesn't matter where they go or how they do it. They're usually the one that it's after or at least interested in.
Right.
I don't know why that happens. That's still a mystery to me.
As my grandmother, the Indian, said, you're marked.
And then we had a question
and she said, go ahead.
Oh, TikTok. A lady on TikTok sent a message in, Sherry. She says, so are we even safe to go camping?
Depends.
Yeah.
I mean, truth Truthfully, I would say to a point, yes, but it is always a calculated risk. It's like I keep using the analogy. I put you in a room with 100 rattlesnakes and tell you, don't worry, only one of them will bite.
Right.
Which one? Well, hell, I don't know.
Right. And I think a lot of times, if it is Sasquatch, and not throwing Dogman and these reptilians into this, just Sasquatch. If you leave him alone, most of the time, I think it's going to be curiosity, some grunting,
Right.
smelling, walking, maybe ransack some things, but he's probably not going to hurt you if you leave him alone. Now, this other thing, this upright canine, as I like to call it, I'm saying 50-50. He may pass you by, and then he might just decide, he's going to jump on you like a cat in a litter box and just throw stuff everywhere. I mean, you just don't know.
And he also might decide that you look like you've got Alpo tattooed on your forehead.
Yeah. It's just hey, I appreciate that. Sheldon sent some pictures in, and Kirk, I'm going to put those.
Excellent.
They'll be in our Patreon after the show. We will drop those in.
Excellent.
Thank you, Sheldon. Oh yeah, Kirk, we got in trouble yesterday. Imagine that. I want to use your saying. Guess what happened?
What's that?
You remember those photographs that whenever I went down to the river that day and I walked down that road in the daylight and I got actually scared in the daylight, remember, because I called you and said, first time ever in the daylight I ever got scared and felt like I needed to leave.
Yeah.
One of our viewers went through the video for me. She time-stamped and took screenshots of certain parts of that video. She found something following me. And you can see it plain as day. I need to send you the photographs. But she sent them all to me, and and thank you very much. I can't remember her name, but I will get her name. She done an awesome job she cataloged them, numbered them, everything. And you can see it.
Excellent.
It was on the ground. It was behind a tree, and she also got it in a tree. She done a great job of spotting it. So I posted them on Facebook. I went to send you a message this morning. My account was locked because I'd violated conduct, and I could not figure out what did I do, because I haven't posted anything, no cuss words, no memes or anything like that. So I go on, contact them, find out everything. It was those photographs, because they can be taken as upsetting.
Oh my. Well, I'm going to tell you what, most everything about Facebook itself is upsetting. Those photographs would be one of the few things that aren't upsetting.
And they're not even scary. They're like regular photographs with something black, something walking in the background, but there's nothing bad at all. And
right.
And you look on Facebook, and you've got drag queens and everything else.
Oh yeah.
And all I did was post a picture of an animal in its environment. And
well, see, with Facebook, anything that's a sin in God's eyes, they're all for.
You pretty much nailed it. That's it.
I mean, if it's a sin, you're good to go.
Right.
If it's something that's exposing the government, their agenda, well, gee. You're all right in their book.
I bet if I posted an alien, it would be fine.
I'm sure it would be. Because once more, you would be helping their agenda. Project Bluebeam, the Great Deception.
Speaking of that project,
the soft disclosure that they're working up to is they're priming people so that there isn't the great rash of people wanting to storm the White House and such. they will go ahead and release a little bit more and a little bit more until it's like, okay, aliens are no big deal. And once they get to the point where the majority of the people think aliens are no big deal, then we'll have Project Bluebeam, really hit us, because that's going to be the second coming of Christ. And it's like, hey, no, that wasn't the rapture. Those people were taken by aliens.
Oh yeah.
But we will help you. Yeah, sure they will.
And the Sasquatches are the pilots.
Exactly.
And another thing is, this guy Douglas said, you don't ever speak your mind though. Oh yeah, we speak our mind. We're shadow banned as we talk.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right. Kurt knows the other day I battled with YouTube forever over being shadow banned, and finally got it worked out a little bit, not completely undone, but yeah, I mean, and the death threats we get is ridiculous. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that we speak our minds. It's just sad. It's like, man, if you want to talk about aliens and Sasquatch driving starships and people shooting photon torpedoes at each other or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna let you do all that. But you start talking, you start talking truth and where these might come from, and proving that the Bible may be correct. Well, we're going to start shadow banning you. We're going to start making sure that you don't do this. We're not going to notify people. I've had people send me emails the next day after we do a live and say, we're just now getting your notification that you're live.
I don't get notifications from our channel. Of course, I'm subscribed. I should be getting notifications, but they don't.
I have my other channel, my Wide Open Adventures channel, and it's subscribed also, and I never get them there either.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And I don't understand why.
But then I'm sitting here, and I'm not going to say the name of the other channel. You know what I'm talking about. 10 o'clock at night, it pops right up. They're live, man. We're talking about
I know.
Tonight, and Johnny Blow was abducted, and poked and prodded, and no telling what else, and took to Mars, and whipped and pulled chariots. And
but he liked it.
Right? Yeah, it was good for him. It brought the man out in him, and then they bring him back to Earth, and he's only been gone for 2 days. And I'm like, do y'all seriously believe this shit? Because I mean, you sit there and you listen to him, and it's like, I mean, I can listen to some stuff, but I've tried to listen to that, and it gets so. I mean, I'm like, dude, you must have really partied hard in your life, because
when he said he had been gone for 40 years, but when he got back to Earth, it was only 2 days that he had been gone. It's like, slap me silly.
Yeah, I was like you at that point. I tried to watch it. I tried to be understanding, but whenever they went into that crazy shit, I was like, I can't do this. I was like,
yeah, really.
You got mushrooms talking to you, and
want to cut your arm off.
Yeah, but they don't mean to. They only do it because they know theirs will grow back.
Yeah. Wow.
I think I'd be.
I think that dude had done some magic mushrooms right then.
I think I would be frying me some mushrooms that night. It just. And me and you've talked about it, because we tried to listen. We tried to hear their agenda. We tried to hear their side.
Yeah, I wanted to give them, the best shot. Convince me. Oh, dude. The only thing they convinced me of is that man was the poster child for why not to do drugs.
Yeah, like the old commercial. This is your brain.
Yep, exactly.
It's just, and it's so hard. It's like I'm trying to listen, and I'm like, dude, and then they'll accidentally say something, something good, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can follow that. And then they go
Yeah.
plumb off the chart, and I'm like, okay. And then you go and totally redeem yourself. It's like, I don't know. And then they get to talking about, and I'm just going to say it. People say we don't say it. I'm just going to say it. When you start adding to the Bible things that you know are not true, you haven't read the last page of the Bible, is all I'm going to say, because it says, whoever is to add to or take away from the book, at all the plagues be cast upon you. I mean, you're dealing with some dangerous things. And me and Kirk one night listened to somebody do that quite often, and
Yep.
was good at it, wasn't they?
Very good.
You can follow Glenda.
Point blank.
Glenda. Oh, I was just going to say, you can follow Glenda, the good witch, all the way down the yellow brick road straight to hell. I mean, she'll deceive you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you want to leave the door open, he'll sure come in.
Oh, yeah. See, the devil don't care whether you're in the ditch on the right side of the road or the ditch on the left side of the road. As long as you're in the ditch, good enough. And that way you can't be walking the straight and narrow.
Well, you know what would have happened to that guy if he'd have slid in the ditch? A spaceship would have come pulled him out.
I mean, well, of course it would. Right before they started poking and prodding him.
But he's really not from this world anyways, because he was actually born on some weird named planet where we're all actually born and then we're all brought here.
Yeah. But, and I hate to do this. I really do hate to do this. Did you know that there is a large group of people that believe that people with O negative blood type are actually, quote, star children, that they are true descendants of aliens?
There is a channel, I can't say the name again, that I interviewed a few times. This guy says he's an expert, if that gives you any hints. And
okay, stop right there. Stop right there. Now let's break that word down. Right. X means former or has been, and spurt is a drip under pressure.
Yep. Well, he is O negative blood, and he doesn't need Jesus or to ask for forgiveness of his sins, because he's just as good as Jesus, because he carries the same blood. But he makes his wife.
I'm O negative.
He makes his wife.
I'm O negative also, and I pray.
Yeah, but when you go on his show, he'll also tell you, don't talk in my chat. I'm here to teach, and you're here to learn. I'm the yeah.
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 Wow.
And you would think that something like, and he will take. Now, I'm Native American. I love my heritage. I'm proud of my heritage, but I don't believe their ways anymore, because we know Jesus Christ. But he will take their ways and then try to say they're above God's ways and intertwine them. And I'm like, dude,
no. And once more, poster child for this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs.
And in one video, he's standing in the middle of the woods, and this is going to lead us to our next conversation. He's standing in the woods, and he's got like a weight loss belt on, like around his outer clothing, with a pistol stuck in the back of it, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs. And I'm like, what in the world? And people follow this.
To each their own, you know. What can I tell you? I mean, I'm quite sure that somebody could start a church of the white dolphin and have hundreds of people join and worship a white dolphin.
Well, he comes from a long line of medicine men, and they have a circle of life. You know how there was a battle in the sky before Jesus was here, and the stars all battled each other. That was before the aliens arrived.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was all...
Now, what exactly is it that they smoke in them damn pipes?
Yeah. Well, and you know what's bad though? And
why aren't they sharing?
Well, this part really bothers me though. They take people's money, go to their house,
I know.
and they tell the people, now we'll come down and help you. We'll get rid of the demons out of your house, but you got to pay to put us up. You got to pay for our food. And then they end up showing up. And I talked to a lady that had them come to her house, and she said, Mike, I had to evict them. They would not leave. They brought their stuff and moved in. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what, I wouldn't have any problem getting them out.
It's, I don't understand it. It's just, you know, they talk about, I mean,
people in this field, the majority of them are con artists. Some of them for money, some of them for fame, some of them just because they get a kick out of conning other people. And then you have the minority of us that do this, could care less about fame, never make a dime off this. As a matter of fact, fund all this out of my own pocket. And, you know, a lot of times we're the ones that are ridiculed, and the con artists are the ones that are held up in reverence because they're, shall we say, more charismatic, and the people like to listen to their bullshit stories.
And you know, I'm gonna say this because this is true, and as long as we speak truth, we shouldn't get in trouble. Y'all can go back on my video timeline, and there was a group or a channel that I was speaking with for a while, and his name was Jerry Williams, the Bigfoot expert. You can go check it out on my video line. And I cut ties with them because he started talking about, you know, Bigfoot clans, as far as some of them are named Rain, some are Snow, some are Dew, some are Thunderstorms. And I I tried my hardest to...
That boy's been watching Mountain Monsters or something.
Yeah, I mean, I tried so hard, and it was just like, I can't go there. And that they're telling people to protect yourself. All you have to do is beep your car alarm, and they'll run away, and you're safe.
Okay.
That's going to get somebody killed.
Exactly.
I mean,
and I just want to know if they're going to take the liabilities for when that person dies because they followed this idiot's advice.
It's just, I mean, some of the things, and then, you know, talking about, oh God, I'm just going to tell you what he said. The reason cryptids look different depends on what they eat. If a cryptid eats bugs all day, he'll look like the bug he eats. If he eats people, he'll look like people. If he eats snakes, he'll look like snakes. But all cryptids come from spiders.
Whoever said that, please put the drugs down, back away from the acid. When you come down off your trip, then go ahead and make an intelligent comment. Because you ain't made one yet.
In our opinion.
Oh my God.
It's crazy to me, in my opinion. You know, this is just my opinion. It's just
Mike, what the hell do we have to do? Do we have to start dropping acid or something so that we fit in with these fools?
You know,
I mean, really.
You know, if you want my honest opinion, this is what I believe. I see, and I'm not saying them, I'm just saying I see certain people, certain groups come in. They piggyback ride on the real investigators, the people that have lived through it. They see a way to make easy money, and they go in and they come up with their own ideas, zodiacs, and you know, the great snake of the sky, you know, is going to swallow the Bigfoot driving the spaceship, and there's people out there.
Well, he's riding on the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah, and there's, you know, and there's people out there, you know, like our elderly people are took advantage of every day in scams.
Right.
And, you know, I'm not saying any particular group, but I'm saying there is groups out there that have been proven to be, you know, false and to bring false content.
Right.
And that hurts everybody. And, you know, it's just, but whenever you start saying, you know, you have the creatures that do Bigfoot, well, they hold back the Thunder Bigfoot, because the Thunder Bigfoot are the meaner hunters, but the rain ones, they come out when it's raining, and just because you hear thunder or hear rain falling doesn't mean it's a Bigfoot. It's probably one of them.
Or it's probably raining outside. Yeah, stick your head out the window. If it's getting wet, it's raining, Bubba.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Exactly. JD, exactly. Pass the pipe.
You know, Bigfoot might be on top of the house slobbering on you.
Yeah, could be, I guess.
But moving on to some, hopefully, some good content.
I don't know. Do we really want to move on? I mean, I'm getting a good laugh out of some of this stuff. This content, some of it's hilarious that these people come up with.
Well, if people want to watch it, they can go to our videos. It is called where we interviewed Jerry Williams, the Bigfoot expert, and they can actually watch the interview. And yeah, it's something you may want to look at. He holds a whole different opinion than I do. We'll put it like that. We had a lady on TikTok ask, whenever you guys are tracking Bigfoot, do you make calls, wood knocks, and would you advise doing that if you're trying to locate them?
Okay. We do at times make wood knocks. We do at times, and I want to clarify this, it is not very often, but there are at times we will make calls. I don't have it anymore. My partner Hank does have it. Has a tape. Wait, you know, I do have it. I lied. I'm sorry. I do still have the tape. I have a tape that is a recording, and we've actually tried call blasting. It works to an extent. Not what you would want it to be. It probably is only effective 30% of the time. And I really have to wonder if it's actually being all that effective, or if it's just we would have got responses at 30% regardless.
Right. And she said, would you recommend it? No, I would not recommend it because I wouldn't want
No, hell no.
I wouldn't want somebody to get hurt. I have found that I get more of a response out of a whistle than I do anything.
Well, and that's because Bigfoot do use a whistle to communicate back and forth amongst themselves. And in Kentucky, there's actually said to be a band, tribe, group, whatever you want to call them, but a large section of Bigfoot there that predominantly only use whistling to communicate. Very seldom will you ever hear a wood knock. Never heard a growl out of one when we've been down there in that area. Heard just a couple of whoops, but for the most part, they whistle back and forth. The first time that we heard it, it's like, what bird is whistling at 2:00 in the morning? Because it sounds very bird-like to a point.
It does. It does. And they'll even use the human, come here whistle, like,
Yep.
like that, or just a single, just, and we're like,
Yep.
And I was told a lot by my uncle when I would go fishing with him. He'd always tell me, because I have a bad habit of whistling. I'm a whistler when I walk and do things. He's like, that's a bad habit to have in the woods,
Yes, it is.
And when I walk, I whistle. And he's like, that's probably not a good idea.
No, not at all.
Me and Sarah, when we went on that one hunt, well, actually two, we went to the pond and then we went down to that bridge and we ended up getting those photographs of that Sasquatch where he was peeking around the tree at us and then sitting beside the tree. The ones I showed you, and you said, that's a big boy right there.
Yep.
That's the same place where I found the hut that was built. And this fall, I am going to go down there and see if that hut is still there. And if it is, I'm going to look inside of it.
We had found I'm going to say a structure. How normally it seems like Bigfoot will build the teepee type structures. Well, this was more of an A-frame structure. It was only about 4 foot high, but it was about 12 foot long. All covered with branches. Would have been a perfect shelter for a human in, shall we say, an emergency situation or camping. But there's no reason to make it 12 foot long.
Right. Yeah. Glenn, send me that picture, and I wanted to answer this question by JD Smooth. George Turner, hold on to that question. I'll get it in just a second, but I do want to answer this one. I've heard this talked about. D.A. Roberts is a good show. I respect him, and I enjoy being on his show all the time. And he does have a lot of good points that he does make. Unfortunately, I disagree with this one. And this is just because of field research. I have heard knocks in the woods, and I'm not smart enough to run from them. I run at them. And whenever you go up there, and Sarah and Kaylee, you've heard them get on to me, Dad, because I'll go right at it. I have found the log and seen the marks on the tree that's been beat on.
Now, I will say this. They can do amazing things with their mouth, as far as vocalizations.
Sorry.
Come on, Mike. Be an adult. As far as vocalizations go,
Yeah.
could they do that? Yes. But I'm pretty sure we would be able to tell the difference between the actual wood knock and them mimicking it with their voice, for the simple fact the wood knock is going to have more of an echo, shall we say, to it, whereas their voice is just going to be the one shot.
Right. It's and also, I've seen the bark where it's been removed, and
Yeah.
the strikes on the trees, and I think it's not only just a wood knock for communication, but I think it's a territorial mark also, um, because it does leave the bark missing. It leaves the striations in the trees.
And it very well may be. The only thing that I would say about that is because of where I found them. If a Sasquatch is marking its territory, it means it's a dominant Sasquatch. So that means that they're not going to have to mark a lot of areas. And I mean, I've seen where they were doing wood knocks, probably 15 trees within 100 square foot. Totally, first of all, totally out of the realm of anything logical. Secondly, never would it be needed, but evidently there was some reason that it was doing it. And I mean, most of the marks were at about the 6 to 7.5 foot tall height. So,
And it may be something also that's taught to their young to be able to communicate if they get separated.
I'm sure it is.
It'd be easy to find them, especially, I don't know, probably a lot of people know this, but some of the people that have lived in the city all their life and stuff, you're in a lot of trees and you're in a hollow and you're around water. That sound will travel for a very long ways. So
Very, very long distance.
it's a good way to put a sound out. Um, and it's too. They probably should even teach that to people in survival. That they can do that.
You think?
But I don't think they want people found anymore.
Nope.
Or at
Nope.
least
I believe that.
not right off. And I also think that they'll wind you. Like you're deer hunting or turkey hunting. They're going to smell you. If you're
Yep.
going to hunt them, hunt them like you would a deer or something. Make sure the wind, is at your back. That way they can smell you. Now you want the wind in your face, but make sure that whenever you go after them, that the wind's in your face. That way, and you haven't been eating a BLT or nothing with bacon. And like they say, a turkey is the hardest animal to hunt. That's what all the hunters say. A turkey is the hardest animal because they have the great eyesight, the great hearing, and they're always alert. I don't know. I've seen some dumb turkey and I've seen some smart turkey, but I don't know. Kind of like also when you're hunting them, it's kind of like when you go in the woods and you're hunting mushrooms. You don't see one for a long time, and then when you finally do find one, you see them everywhere. So if you know what
Yeah,
you're
you
looking,
find a lot.
yeah. So you got to kind of know what you're looking for when you're out there too. You got to know their displacement of what you're looking for.
There is, on the way to Sherlock's vet, I go by this one farm, and it has a woods right at the back of the cornfield. Right after the corn is harvested, you can drive by there and see 200 to 300 wild turkeys in there. And I mean, I'm literally from the road where I'm driving to the wild turkeys, taking about a 50-yard shot would be all it is. But of course, you're not in turkey season then.
Right. When you're not supposed to.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to be heading down there where I hurt my ankle at. And I want to try to get some proof that they're down in there. I'm going to be doing that really soon. I want to try to get some good video for you guys, a good boots on the ground video. I know a lot of you guys are missing that. You have been requesting that from me. And just to let you all know also, and I want to talk a little bit about this, they were talking about, in the video that I done about Halloween is going to be one of the worst one in years. And we know now that Ohio and Pennsylvania are really, really gearing up for this Halloween. And the Hunter's Moon this year is going to be 3 days before Halloween, which you're still going to have that moon on Halloween.
And that also happens to be the same day that we'll have the vampire hunter on.
Yep, he'll be on the actual day of that moon, the Hunter's Moon.
Yep.
And,
yep.
So it's going to be a good show. I'm excited to do that. I got some pre-recordings I'm working on, but I am going to go down to this place, see what I can find. Hopefully I won't. I'll wear my better boots this time, and instead of tennis shoes. And I'll go down there and see what I can document and what I can find. It's supposed to be a pretty hot spot. It's in the middle of nowhere. And I want to start doing some nighttime investigations coming up. And hopefully next month, if everything goes right and we get enough money saved back from the Patreon and everything, looks like I may be able to grab the night vision camera. So
excellent.
That's going to open up a lot of things. Prita, I do boots on the ground by myself. I'm kind of like Chuck Norris, the lone wolf. I work better alone. No, but I do go alone.
I do too.
It's really right now it's the only choice I have. We're all so separated that work together, and you don't just want to take anybody to these areas, because if you do and they start telling people on word of mouth and they get flooded and you end up losing.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you'll lose your investigational area, because you'll have people that go down there and trash it and leave their trash and party, and it's not good. Yeah, my grandma used to tell me that those full blood Cherokees. She said, "Don't whistle in the house or in the woods." So
you're right, Sheldon.
Yeah, war criminal. We just have to do what we have to do, and mostly know our limitations. I think that's the main thing: is know your limitations. Your gut tells you to get out of there. Get out of there. And if it tells you to trip your
That's the most important thing. Always trust your gut.
And if you have to trip your partner, trip your partner. I
mean, you never have to do that. All you got to do is shoot them in the kneecap.
Yeah. Throw a pile of bacon on them and run. But I think that's pretty much all we're going to go over tonight, guys. We wanted to come on a Monday night and kind of check out Monday nights with y'all. If y'all have any questions, feel free to put it, in capital letters, and we'll try to get to it before we end the show.
Yep.
As far as the Thunder Clan and Lightning Clan and all them, I won't be able to help you much there. I don't know much about that. You'll have to contact the people with the aluminum foil hats. I don't.
No, you don't know where that's from? The TV show Mountain Monsters supposedly found a clan that one of them had a damn white stripe down his back that was lightning, and the rest were his brothers Thunder and Rain, and yeah.
I don't even have no words.
That's why I laughed so hard when you said that. Somebody been watching Mountain Monsters.
I don't know who's doing it, but just death threats. I'm not sure who it is. Have they messed with you any, Kurt?
No comment right now.
Nobody peeking in your windows?
Not that I am sure of. There have been some things that have been questionable, but it's one of those deals where it could have been this, it could have been that. Until I know for sure what it is, I'm not going to say it was. I'm just going to say I keep very aware and very, very cautious.
My scariest moment was probably whenever I had the boys with me down at the lake and the dogmen came out. Not because they were close or anything like that, but just because I had the kids with me and I worry more about them than I do myself. So that would have been my scariest encounter.
My scariest encounter. Probably when my partner threw the gas on the fire instead of diesel and lit it, and that dog man jumped up, absolutely surprised us. He wasn't 30 foot from us, and when he took off at the run, at the closest point, he was maybe 7 or 8 foot away from me and coming fast and hard. And he got by me, and he was shearing off 4-inch branches off black walnut trees as he was going up that hillside. I mean, he looked like a massively sized NFL running back shedding tacklers.
Frida, as much as I'd like to, no comment. I don't want to.
I cannot get into that.
Yeah, I don't want to comment directly at another channel.
No.
It's not that I don't want to. It's just I can't.
Right.
Thank you very much, JD. We'll be as careful as we can be.
I am very careful. I do understand things happen, and I stay ready for it to the best of my ability.
Yeah, like what you said earlier, there's always a calculated risk in it, and it's kind of like I guess the best way to put it is when you're an officer and people tell you don't go to work, you might die. Well, that can happen every day.
Can die sometime.
It's just a risk that you're willing to take for something that you enjoy doing. You just have to.
You got to die sometime or something.
Yep, you just have to weigh it. You got to weigh it. Let's see.
I like her comment.
Yeah, I did too. Have you heard you can call in Bigfoot with your phone with a sound generator app set to 196 megahertz? Yeah, I heard that on another station the other night, but they were also using it to communicate with aliens. So
yeah.
It makes
at 1.6 gigahertz.
Makes you wonder if you're not maybe messing with the spiritual world in that aspect too. And I don't want to be calling in any demons, for sure.
Right.
Queen Rose said something was under her bed last night.
That's not good.
All right, I think that's most of the questions, Kurt. Again, just want to thank Christy for the live the other night, setting a record. We're going to get our days figured out. Uh, let's see, we will be on Saturday at our normal time, and I don't think we have anything else to add except for Saturday night at our normal time. We should all three be on. Are we going to? Yeah, we
Hit
got one.
that like button and subscribe.
Yes, and I did forget we do have one this Wednesday. I forgot about that one. Uh, Wednesday night we have one, and I think it's going to be a fun one. It's about how is Sasquatch and orbs related. We're going to go into why people have the paranormal encounters that have the Sasquatch cryptid encounters, and try to figure that whole part out, which is
Right.
kind of going to go into what Scott Carpenter was talking to us about. It's going to touch a little bit in that area that he was talking about. So it should be a pretty interesting show.
I agree. It will be.
All right, guys. We appreciate y'all showing up, and we're going to jump off. And as always, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. And for sure, if it's thundering outside, stay inside because they're probably hunting. And we'll see you on the next one.